Hello, and welcome to our virtual showcase. My name is Mark Perry, and joining me is Ethan Schwartz, Jackson Meyers, Justin Fischman, Logan Davisson, and Richard Garcia. In 2020, UGA purchased and put into use 100% electric buses in hopes to replace their diesel bus fleet. By doing this, they were working to lower their emissions and carbon footprint. We were tasked to help by designing a bus station that would wirelessly charge the bus. This increases the range of the buses and, in turn, will lower the number of buses needed to be purchased while keeping the same number of bus routes. Now on to Logan for the theory of our design.
The basic theory behind inductive charging is power transfer by means of an electromagnetic field from one coil of wire to another. By running an alternating current through a coil of wire, an oscillating magnetic field is generated. This magnetic field can be transmitted from the first coil and received by the second, inducing power that can then be used to charge a device. Our system operates by taking DC current from a Proterra power control system, or PCS, and inverting it to an AC current. It is then transmitted through the coils to a rectifier that changes the current back to DC and transmits it to the J1772 connector, which routes power directly into the bus. Jackson will now explain some of the specifics of our circuit design.
Our wireless power transfer circuit is broken up into two parts, a vehicle assembly and a ground assembly. The ground assembly features our high-frequency inverter. It's made from a full bridge of MOSFETs, which are driven by gate drivers. This generates a high-frequency square wave, which we apply to our transmitter circuit. The transmitter circuit wirelessly transfers the power to our receiver circuit. So our coils are placed in parallel with the capacitor. This is to create what's called a tank circuit on each side. So a tank circuit, whenever it's operated close to its resonance frequency, its impedance approaches infinity. This means that we can transmit the maximum power possible on each side of the circuit. After the receiver, we rectify down the high frequency AC back down to DC in order to charge the bus. We use the full bridge rectifier with Schottky diodes because of their reduced voltage drop to save on efficiency. We also have an in parallel capacitor in order to smooth any ripples that may occur.
The mechanical design of this project came at designing the full-scale parts that can be used on the buses. Because we needed to fit the aesthetic of the campus, widely used overhead pantograph charging, shown here, was not an option. Our products must fit covertly in the ground and in an unseen location on the bus. The two main components of wireless power transfer are the ground assembly, which is the power transmitter, and the vehicle assembly, which is the power receiver. Both of these assemblies are shown here in exploded views. The ground assembly is composed of the enclosure, a protective covering known as a Litz tray, transmitting coil, ferrite tiles, heat shield, and lastly the enclosure. And the entire assembly is rescinded into the pavement to avoid any road, or even worse, a pedestrian hazard. Since the vehicle assembly is essentially the mirror operation of the transmitting assembly, we were able to use the same parts in the formation of our receiver, the vehicle assembly. This allows for the greater uniformity and repeatability in manufacturing and simplified maintenance. We were able to find the exact locations of the mounting holes by using a 3D scanner and have designed the enclosure to fit snugly in place of this protective shroud that covers these storage tanks on the rear of the bus. I will now turn it over to Justin to talk about implementing our design.
In order to find the best place to implement this product, we analyzed different routes and bus stops on campus. From the data on TPS's website and the data on dwell time provided, it was found that Memorial Hall, Main Library, Joe Frank Harris Commons, East Campus Village, and University Health Center stops were the best places to put the wireless chargers. At the Memorial Hall stop, each time a bus passes a charger, it gains another 1.13 miles. This might not seem like much, however, at 57 buses per hour, it would give an extra 64.41 miles every hour to different buses along different routes. This is at one stop. With more chargers, the buses could stay out indefinitely. Finally, Richard will be explaining the testing and results of our design.
During the testing of our charger, we found a resonant frequency of 166.9 kHz. Given the space between the transceiver and the receiver of the system, we have achieved a low efficiency of 6% across the air gap. However, in our simulation, we were able to achieve a theoretical efficiency of 56% across an 8 to 10 inch air gap. While we believe we can increase the real-world efficiency more, we think that given the manufacturing techniques at our disposal, the prototype will not be able to achieve this theoretical efficiency at its current scale. However, we remain hopeful that when we scale this design to full size, we will have a higher efficiency.